From the Steampunk Explored newsroom, a world of hair-raising adventures, splendiferous personalities, fantabulous creations. Welcome to the world of Steampunk.
Welcome to episode 8 of The World of Steampunk. I'm Stephen Beal, editor and publisher of the Steampunk Explorer, and once again, I'll be your host. I'm sure we all have stories about how we were introduced to steampunk, but for me, it began many years ago when I wandered into the steampunk section at the Bay Area Maker Faire. It's been described as the greatest show and tell on Earth, a gathering of artists, inventors, and tinkerers demonstrating their ingenious creations, many with a steampunk aesthetic. That event shut down in 2019, but now it's back, and we have a special report about all the contraptions we saw there. You won't want to miss it, but first, the news. Discover Steampunk, the traveling museum exhibition, has a new home for the next several weeks at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. The exhibition uses steampunk as a vehicle for educating visitors about 19th century authors and inventors. It features sculptures by steampunk artist Bruce Rosenbaum, as well as educational panels by the Steampunk Explorer, that's me. As you can see, some steampunk fans from the Steampunk Consortium in Indiana have already paid a visit. Discover Steampunk is on display at the museum until December 10th. It's also made stops at museums in Idaho, New Mexico, Tennessee, and Virginia. The first weekend of December is a big one for steampunk fans on both sides of the Atlantic. TeslaCon, the long-running immersive steampunk convention, returns to Madison, Wisconsin, this time with a theme related to ancient Egypt. If you're partial to warmer climes, the second annual Steampunk Adventurers Weekend is taking place at Yesteryear Village in West Palm Beach, Florida. Frenchie and the Punk will take the stage, and you might encounter a steampunk Santa, as well as cosplay celebrity Bastille the Butler. The venue is a living history park. Northern California has its own steampunk Santa, and he'll be cruising in his steampunk rocket sleigh at the Mad Hatter Holiday Parade in Vallejo. You can also expect to see other art cars from Obtainium Works, the steampunk art studio that makes its home in Vallejo. And maybe you'll even see some fiery vehicles from Burning Man. If you're near the south of England, you can drop in on a steampunk Christmas celebration in the seaside town of Weymouth. It will feature activities all weekend, including a promenade through town on Sunday. There's lots more steampunk happening in November and December, so be sure to check out the calendar on our website. Girl Genius, the hugely popular graphic novel series from Phil and Kaya Folio, is now a video game. Players take the role of protagonist Agatha Heterodyne, exploring the castle that bears her family name. Along the way, they employ mad science to battle the corrupted AI that controls the castle, dealing with death traps and a powerful villain. The game was developed by the Norwegian company Rain Games. It was funded by a Kickstarter campaign that raised $250,000. It's available now for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Your local cinema will have some holiday treats next month with a couple of movies that should be on your steampunk watch list. First up is Wonka, a musical fantasy that tells the origin story of the chocolate maker from Roald Dahl's novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The novel spawned 2 movie adaptations with Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. This one stars Timothy Chalamet in the title role, and as you can see from the trailer, it's a feast of steampunk visuals. The movie is set for worldwide release in mid-December. This next one is definitely not for kids. Poor Things from director Yorgos Lanthimos is loosely based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It stars Emma Stone as a young Victorian woman who is brought back to life by an eccentric scientist portrayed by Willem Dafoe. Mark Ruffalo co-stars as a lawyer who takes her on a worldwide adventure. The movie premiered in September at the Venice International Film Festival. It's drawn critical acclaim, with special praise for the director and Emma Stone's performance. It's set for theatrical release in the US and Canada on December 8th and later in most other countries. Maker Faire. It's been called the greatest show and tell on Earth, a festival of do-it-yourself ingenuity in robotics, kinetic art, costume making, and lots more. It's a celebration of maker culture where people gather to create all kinds of wild and whimsical art projects and then teach others how they did it. Maker fairs are held around the world, but the largest was the one held in San Mateo, California, near San Francisco. I attended my first Maker Faire in 2011, and that was where I first encountered steampunk. Maker Faire had a small steampunk area, and that year it hosted the League of Steam, a steampunk performance group from Los Angeles. They were demonstrating the benefits of zombie domestication, with gadgets you could easily imagine in a Jules Verne or H.G. Wells novel. But steampunk wasn't limited to that one small area. Maker Faire was also a showcase for gigantic art installations and mutant vehicles, many of which were first seen at Burning Man. Maker Faire was produced by Maker Media, a company that also published Make magazine. But in 2019, the unthinkable happened. Maker Media went out of business, and it appeared that we had seen the last big Maker Faire in the Bay Area. Make magazine and Maker Faire were founded by this gentleman, Dale Doherty. Shortly after the demise of Maker Media, he revived the company as Make Community LLC. And then in July, the new company announced the return of Maker Faire to the Bay Area, this time at the former Mare Island Naval Shipyard in Vallejo. The Maker Fairs in San Mateo drew more than 100,000 people. This new event, held over 2 weekends in October, was smaller, but many old favorites were back. There were the Coke and Mentos guys, dropping Mentos into bottles of Diet Coke to create a choreographed fountain show, and Rock the Bike with its pedal-powered stage. As with the old Maker Fairs, there was a lot of steampunk. If not full-bore steampunk, then certainly steampunk-related or steampunk-adjacent. And even the projects that weren't necessarily steampunk could potentially offer inspiration for steampunk artists and other creators. This is Celestial Mechanica, a gigantic steampunk orrery, in other words, a model of the solar system. It was inspired by an orrery seen in Jim Henson's movie, The Dark Crystal. I spent 4 days at the new Maker Faire, taking photos, shooting video, and speaking with some of the makers. Here's more of what I saw, beginning with a visit to the Steam Bohemians of Obtainium Works.
Welcome to Maker Faire in Vallejo, which is our hometown. Yay! So Obtainium Works is very excited to be here. We were here for both weekends, and it's just been fantastic. We've always wanted them to come to the island. We think it's a perfect venue for makers, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful way to exhibit all of the fun stuff that we've got. Art cars, we've got trash robots, we do a thing called the Robot Rumble, and we're just very excited to be here, and we look forward to it being their permanent spot every year.
For many years, Obtainium Works was the anchor of Maker Faire's steampunk section. The art studio is best known for the Never Was Hall, a 3-story Victorian house on wheels. They imagined an alternate history where they were emissaries crossing the globe on behalf of the Hibernian Steam Empire. Hibernia is an old Latin name for Ireland.
Hi, I'm Kiana Van Houten with the Flaming Lotus Girls. We're an all-volunteer art collective that's women-led and focused on inclusivity. And we're here at Maker Faire with our sculpture Serenity, which features a variety of fireflies varying in size from about the size of your hand to 6 feet in wingspan, and our biggest fireflies shoot out big poofs of propane flames. And the Flaming Lotus Girls, we love Maker Faire. We've been coming here for years and years, and we're so glad that it's finally back in this new location on Mare Island. And it's just such an incredible event. It's just a giant nerd convergence. All of these different people who make in all different sorts of mediums, from, you know, humble cardboard and painter's tape to fancy LEDs and metal fabrication like we do. And you know, makers of all ages are here, and it's just so fun seeing everyone here showing off what they make and teaching people and showing them that you, yes, you can make things too.
Steampunks like to imagine technology from the age of steam, but the folks at Kinetic Steamworks make steam-powered gizmos that actually work. This group was a fixture at the old Maker Fairs, bringing restored, steam-powered equipment along with projects they built essentially from scratch. One that I'll never forget was the steam-powered pencil sharpener. It was the ultimate Rube Goldberg contraption. This year they were back with old favorites like Pappy, a 75 horsepower steam traction engine originally built in 1917, and a steam-powered printing press that they used to produce Maker Faire souvenirs. One of their latest projects doesn't use steam at all. It's their own custom-built railroad handcar.
My name's Dave Simmons. I'm a maker of a item here at the Maker Faire called Copperbot. It's a, I started with a wheelchair base and made it remote control. And then I started adding Raspberry Pi and some other things, and it turned into an art project. And now it's got over 200 LEDs, a whole bunch of servos, and let's see, it's got about 3 or 4 radio power tubes, a couple high voltage vacuum capacitors, and a lot of copper. And I basically drive it around and surprise people and interact with them. Well, I really like Maker Faire. There's a lot of people that come here just with the things they've built and created, and it's great to see that, and great to come and show what I've made. I really like this new place at Mare Island. It's a beautiful setting, lots of room, lots of people here, and I hope they come back here again.
We encountered lots and lots of robots at Maker Faire in all shapes and sizes. One of the stars was Russell, the electric giraffe, yet another project from Burning Man. Of course, you can always expect to see robots inspired by Star Wars. Then there was Vanessa, the singing robot, serenading attendees with her pop songs. However, some of the robots were more confrontational, like the ones doing battle in the Robot Rumble.
Exterminate! Exterminate! Identify human! Identify! If you get my good side, you would make a good Dalek.
I don't think so.
Well, I must decapitate my human handler. I shall return.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Randall, and my brother and I are the Scare Makers, and we just love coming to Maker Faire. We love showing our Halloween products,
and we love to teach people how to make their own product Halloween scares. This is such a great environment, so much camaraderie, so much community. You got to come out. Maker Faire is the best, and we miss it. Hasn't been here since 2019, so we're glad to be back, and we love it. Like 2 weekends, this is the best.
One of the big attractions at the old Maker Faire was the Dark Room, a showcase for illuminated art projects. You could see Tesla coil performances by Arc Attack, or perhaps witness an illuminated Shark Attack. All told, you could say it was a hair-raising adventure. The Dark Room on Mare Island was smaller, but it was still quite an experience. The main event on the first weekend was a fashion show called Hacking the Runway, featuring illuminated apparel. It was presented by a group from Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. But the Dark Room really came alive on the second weekend. You could wander in the Astro-Botanical Space Garden, a collection of illuminated plant-like sculptures. Or you could gaze at illuminated butterflies, an illuminated peacock, an art car inspired by a creature from a Studio Ghibli movie. But the main attraction was the Sepia Lux art car. It's an inflatable animatronic cuttlefish, 36 feet long and 15 feet wide, with thousands of LEDs and an elaborate motion control system. The eyeballs, as you can see, are hemispheric LED monitors. More than a dozen people contributed to the project.
This is Maker Faire 2023. So glad it's back. I'm very, very excited to be here. So happy that it's back in action. We can inspire more kids, get a whole new generation of people excited about making, building, tinkering, playing, being creative. And also encouraging a few adults to do that too.
My name's Kirk. I'm from San Jose. I came down here just to see the show. This is my first day ever to Maker Faire. My friend called me and said, hey, you need to come down here. The kind of stuff we do is here. And it is. I really enjoyed seeing what's here. This is my simulated steam bike. It runs on compressed air. It's got a carbon fiber tank that gets filled up at a dive shop. It's painfully slow. It goes about 7 miles an hour and it'll go about 5 miles on a tank of air. But it's got a cool factor that even an electric bike doesn't have the cool factor of. I also play around with electric bikes, but this one's altogether different.
Maker Faire had all kinds of art cars, also known as mutant vehicles. Among the biggest crowd pleasers were the mobile cupcakes from Acme Muffineering, a loosely organized group of makers who build many of the vehicles around mobility scooters. They've been longtime favorites at Maker Faire. Then there was the Holy Bike, which got its name from all the holes that artist Keith Young drilled into the engine. But the most eye-popping art car of them all was the Project Empire spaceship. The creators imagined an alternate history where NASA and Philco Corporation launched a secret mission to Mars in 1965. They described the genre as aerospace punk. Like so many other projects here, it was first seen at Burning Man. The group is led by two artists from Oakland, John Seriogarte and Kirsten Mate. They also created the Golden Mean snail art car seen here at the Mad Hatter Holiday Parade.
We have liftoff. There she goes.
The organizers have already announced plans for next year's Bay Area Maker Faire, which once again will be held over 2 weekends in October. And locally produced Maker Fairs are held all around the world. Check out the Maker Faire website to see if there's one near you. That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time.